Live from Pahrump, Nevada, the Valley of the Dirt People, it's Tech Talk Taco Tuesday with your hosts, Jimmy Lewis and Logan Tyler.
And we're live on Tech Talk Talk. Now we are?
Now
No?
we're live.
Oh, we're starting with a no tonight. This is the no show where no, Jimmy, you can't announce the show that you invented. So what is this show called, Cooper?
Tech Talk Taco Tuesday.
Right, and what do we do on this show?
Talk about dirt bike and dirt bike related products.
That's good. One of these days you'll spit it out like an announcer. It maybe right after you stop crashing. Why did you have to Band-Aid up your arm?
It was bleeding. I peeled off the scab.
Oh, a scab.
Yeah.
From that crash?
No, different one.
A different one.
Yeah.
We got to work on this.
Okay.
My name is Jimmy Lewis. I am a washed-up ex-motorcycle racer, former motorcycle journalist. I say a lot. Do you have the counter up?
Yes.
You got the buttons pushing. So we have an counter. We're trying to clean up our act around here. What show is this, Matt?
148.
148. You'd think at 150 shows would be a little more professional. This show would not be possible without the help of a lot of our sponsors. That, of course, is. You can say it.
Yamaha,
Okay.
Moto, Scott Sports, Climb, DDC, Trail Tech, Fasst Company, Seat Concepts, Bulletproof Designs.
Hey, and Bulletproof Designs wants you to know that they have their new 2023 products coming out here. That is like things like hand guards, radiator guards, a lot of the stuff that's real similar to other models. If you're getting a new 2023, check out Bulletproof Designs for your protection. Let me tell you one thing about radiator guards, by the way. Put them on before you need them, because otherwise you're going to have to buy a new radiator and then you're going to put the radiator guard on, and so you're one radiator ahead if you do it before they're all bent. Especially Bulletproof Designs, because they're such a nice tight fit and they're so protective. You don't want to try to put that on a previously bent radiator, which we had a couple looks at bent radiators today, huh, Cooper?
Yeah, just
Cooper brought his bike by the shop today to get, well, what did you think we were going to do to your bike?
I thought we were just gonna I thought you were just gonna ride it and diagnose the problem. I didn't think we were gonna tear that whole thing down.
Right, so I rode it and I diagnosed the problem.
Yep.
Which was pretty much the entire bike. And I think I saved him a lot of money in the long run because, and we'll know when we get the motor out of the frame, because I'm pretty sure that his rod is it's probably where that bike is just running so good right now, but it's loose. And then the piston's flopping. I mean, you can actually, you can put your finger up in the exhaust port and tickle the piston. Do you know, Logan, do you know how to do this?
Tickle the piston?
You stick your finger into the exhaust port and you reach up there and you can grab the piston and you can, on the top.
I could learn.
In about 3 seconds you can learn. That's about how long you'll last when you tickle the piston. And so if you do that and it shakes inside there, something's loose, not good. And so I tickled Cooper's piston and I said, we're gonna do more than just this. Meanwhile, we were beating bearings out of the shock linkage.
Yeah, that was
To the point we actually had to cut the bearing race out, and because it was so welded essentially in there. That was after all the rusty parts fell out and the case was the only thing left. And the case was so compromised that the outer lips of the case had been punched. Literally, they were so worn that when we tried to drive the bearing case out, they collapsed in. So, we haven't seen if he's using water for fork fluid. We haven't got that far. I was going to suggest that when the suspension comes off, maybe it's time to get serviced, but I hadn't even asked him at that point. It was just everything needed a little bit of attention, and some of it needs a lot before it becomes a non-functional bike. So yeah, good times. And we thought we were just going to maybe like change a jet or something.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Right. And so we're doing all this stuff, and I kind of forgot the main purpose of him wanting to bring the bike over here is he said, yeah, my chain was missing 2 rollers on it. And I completely forgot about this because this was a conversation like a few days ago, and of course I didn't write it down. I don't remember things. And we're tearing all this stuff down. I hear him on the phone trying to do something with sprockets. By the way, sprockets, DDC, ddcracing.net. I know you were going to call Delaney Drive Components and try to get some these awesome. They're our first sponsor of our show. Still here, yeah. You should actually talk to Nate and say, hey, I'm a co-host on Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. Do I get a hookup?
Yeah.
Maybe a little discount or
Little
something
discount.
like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And find out what the discount code is for the Tech Talk Taco Tuesday listeners. But anyways, he's trying to get a DDC sprocket on there to replace his bent sprocket.
It's still runnable.
No, it's not. So anyways, yeah, it was the sprocket was bent. What else was jacked up on that thing? The tab broke off the frame. The exhaust pipe is bent enough to where it's not sealing up in the exhaust port. It's just a few things. So yes, Bob. Bob is raising his hand. She's raising her hand too. I'll ladies first. The girl who is not Logan's girlfriend.
Yes.
What's your name again? Kyler. Hi, Kyler. Welcome to Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. What do you think? Oh, thumbs up. That's good. Okay, Bob, your question?
Have you ever asked your co-host what his current educational career goals are?
He said he's going to be a mechanic. It's
Yeah.
Have
It's-
you been hit by the irony train just like I was?
no. You give him a little while. They're only 16.
Okay.
Like he just started driving. Wait till his truck breaks, and then he'll be a mechanic.
Well, it's already broken. I remember, like 2 shows ago, me and Logan were out there tearing it apart. Window regulator.
Oh yeah, no. Did you fix that, or did your dad do it for you?
Yeah, see, it's still.
It doesn't work.
Still taped up.
Okay, well, good times. You always know that there's plenty of learning to be had around here. That's what we do at Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. Enjoy the show. Try to learn something. That's the voice Metron voice. It's supposed to mean more than just me babbling, right?
Yep.
Tell us about Yamaha 4-strokes.
Yamaha 4-strokes. For motocross riders driven to dominate, the Yamaha YZ line of 4-strokes bikes are built for victory. Visit YamahaMotorsports.com today to explore what's new and improved for 2022. The YZ 450F and 250F bring the performance with powerful 4-stroke engines, reduced unsprung weight, and new suspension settings. For the look of a full factory ride, both the YZ 450F and 250F come in an exclusive Monster Energy Yamaha Racing Edition graphics package, and you can take precision tunability to the next level with the Yamaha exclusive and industry's one free power tuner app. Visit YamahaMotorsports.com today. Find your Yamaha YZ and enter the victory zone.
You know, it's pretty cool when you get that Monster Energy edition,
Yeah.
and then you get some blue alloy bits. And if you don't get that joke, you might have to look at episode 147. Yeah. So, good times. Hey, Fasst Company, one of our sponsors here, they make the Flex handlebars. Me and Matt went to the motocross track the other night.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, how bad is it going to hurt your wrists if you keep riding the stock bike with the stock bars compared to your bike with the Flex bars? And it hurt. So they make bad forks good. So we're going to get right to some of our questions. Again, if you have a question, you can call in the Seat Concepts Hot Seat Hotline. Somebody's going to type it into the chat, hopefully. 775-318-5515. We'll keep that open for the first hour of the show. And don't worry, Matt, I have not forgot about that other thing. So that's good. Logan's typing in the best he can.
Oh.
You've been doing the switching camera angles and stuff like that, all those things?
Done one.
Just one? Yeah, good job. So very few technical difficulties.
Logan, you're doing that all wrong.
I said and I want to see if it went on the counter because he's doing all these different things over there.
Yeah, you're.
Gotcha. Fasst Company products are American made. Hey, they have flex handlebars for mountain bikes. And I'm not kidding. They're really good.
Really?
Because mountain bike suspension, frankly, just kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Because they don't want the bike to wallow and move around. And Fasst Company makes these bars. You have adjustable elastomers. And I really like them on my bike. I can run my forks a little bit stiffer. Even though I have an e-bike and I'm a full cheater, I have a good time in that thing. So all good. Mark Daniels, he's got the TTTT. That's the extra one. It's for tequila.
Yep.
And a cold cerveza in hand. Good to see you, Mark. Good to see a lot of our regular viewers. Feel free to call in if you have some questions. Hey, we're gonna have some hot coolant talk tonight. Does that sound good? Hot coolant talk.
Yep.
I had a question from one of our guys. I got it right here. His name, oh boy, I didn't actually put his name on there. He's a regular, but he had a question. He basically said he's been having a lot of leaky seals on his both KTM 450 and 500 around his coolant impellers and those seals, and he wanted to know if adding silicone or having silicone additives in the coolant was the problem for that. And frankly, I didn't know. Like, I'm not a chemist and I'm not a scientist.
Maybe Bob would know then.
No, Bob's not really anything. Bob just talks a lot and raises his hand. So Bob doesn't know these things, but he does troll all the internet for him. So if there's a rumor on the internet for him, Bob will know about it, but he won't admit it. So I reached out to Chris Reel, and he said the coolant question is good. I wish I had the original coolant question. I didn't print it out. My printer was offset. So normal antifreeze and coolant is either ethylene glycol, EG, or propylene glycol, PG, and has demineralized water, which is very important, okay? So what's that, Bob? Demineralized. That's what I said. So yeah. Deionized, demineralized,
Yeah.
those things, those kind of waters. Those are good waters for your...
Deionized is one step past demineralized.
Correct. So the active ingredient in most antifreeze is sodium, and of course other corrosive inhibitors, lubricity agents, and wetting agents to minimize hot spot boiling. The propylene glycol, coolants are less toxic, so they are gaining in popularity. I am old school. This is Chris, and I like the ethylene glycol coolants for my dirt bikes as they can tolerate dilution better and have been known to boil water, and he has been known to boil water out of his bike and need to do a trail fill. So when a formulator, that's the coolant manufacturer, does coolant, the type of metals in the system are a prime consideration. Occasionally, coating agents are used that react specifically with aluminum or magnesium to minimize corrosion. And occasionally, a coolant will have some stop leak, which are semi-solids that can contribute to mechanical wear, believe it or not. These solids are often silica and may be abrasive. And this is what the specific question kind of revolved around. Motorcycle-specific coolants are really good as the formulator knows the cooling system is small and the engines have aluminum in them. These are important things that you should know if you're learning something right now. There's Chris right now. The show audio and video is getting much better. Good job to the IT tech crew. Whoa.
It's like two yahoos over there right now.
Those guys didn't do any of it. Matt did all this stuff. Actually, it's because Matt told everybody to shut down their internet-connected phones and quit wrecking the stream, boys and girls. Okay, back to the coolant. Calcium and other minerals are also abrasive, and that's why distilled or mineral-free water is strongly recommended for a cooling system. The minerals will condense and solidify on hot parts, particularly when the coolant level gets low. So when you see that white stuff inside your radiator, and if you pull your coolant system apart and you see white coatings, that's calcium and these other minerals. The solution for deposit control is to change the coolant occasionally and use ready-mix coolant. And if you need to add water to your dirt bike's cooling system, be sure to service the coolant when you're done riding. And so he's saying if you boil coolant over and you add water, at some point you're going to need to add some coolant back into it to keep the ratio proper. I typically run mine a little heavy on the water side. I always have, just because out here I know the water does a good job cooling. We don't need, quote, antifreeze that much. Yeah. So anyways, so if you need to re-energize the chemistry and are budget-minded guy, you can drain part of the cooling system and just top it off. So instead of just draining the whole thing and doing it, you can just add a little bit like I just suggested. This is a good one. In the event that you're out of water in your Camelback and you need to use recycled human filtered water, or experienced PBR, as Chris called it, be sure to have your garage helper service the cooling system. So in other words, like if I go out and piss all the water out of my cooling system, Cooper, and you're my mechanic and you're working in my garage,
Yeah.
well, that means you need to service my cooling system. And be careful what comes out of there. For Todd on the 450 KTM, I suspect the cooling system just needs a bit more maintenance and to use the proper coolant and always mineral-free water, as his wear on the seal and impeller is an abrasive contributed mechanical wear. Mechanical wear. So Chris is thinking that maybe he had a little too much of not very good water in there, or whatever additive that might have been in there caused a little bit of problem. If he sees white dust or mineral residues in the radiators, this can be removed with a couple of flushes using white vinegar, 20%, and distilled water, 80%. Drain, fill, run on the stand with the cap off, and rinse. And you can do this multiple times, and this will kind of clean and attract that coolant. So this is the key thing for everybody. If you start seeing your radiators, pick up some of this white residue and stuff, 80-20, white vinegar, distilled water, run it through the system, get it warmed up, and drain it right back out, and that will help. And Chris says he hopes that helps. Chris, it absolutely helps. You are a valuable asset to this show, and we appreciate things. Todd, I hope that helped your coolant problem. I hope that helped a lot of other people's coolant problems. And when I don't know the answer, I reach out to people that do. I don't go on the internet and make something up, which I have a little bit of a rant later on if somebody wants to remind me why I get pissed off. Actually, I think I put one of the, I sent Matt one of the questions. Did they make it to the question sheet, Matt?
That's the question sheet.
I don't see.
Matt's not in here.
No, I know. He's over there trying to answer the phones. Do we have anybody on the phones? Nobody's on the phones.
Shy,
So
guys.
Matt's in there just sleeping probably. He's probably found my liquor cabinet. He's old enough, unlike you kids. So next question.
It's from Joshua Adam Sandor. Any idea how much low end you lose by taking out intake reeds? 21500 EXCF, PVC, PMB, and cap.
Okay, that is okay. So we did get the questions in here.
Okay.
That's one of them. So this is the one that I responded to on a forum, and I'll talk about my forum rant later. But so what he's talking about, I specifically have experience with this. I specifically have put in and removed reeds on that bike and tested it with different mufflers and all different kinds of things, different ECUs and everything. And he said stock engine, stock ECU basically, and just an end cap. In my experience, and you can tell me if I'm lying here or not, what do my bikes, all my bikes have stock ECUs, the newer ones.
Yeah.
They all have a muffler or a modified end cap on them. None of them are completely stock with that pea shooter out the back and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. All of my bikes have the reeds in them. And so I read 15 or 16, 20 different comments before I actually commented.
Yeah.
And I said exactly what I know. That when you take the reeds out, you lose a certain amount of torque. And you lose a certain kind of throttle response. And I put it in there because I knew.
Yeah.
This is what I know from riding it. And somebody came back and said, "Oh, but on a dyno, that's not what happens." And it's like, okay, do you ride a dyno? Number one.
Yeah.
Where you lose the torque and where the throttle response goes to crap does not show up on a dyno. I don't know anybody that rides a dyno and measures power where most of us really ride our bikes. And it's not when you put all the stuff on, you take it out of your driveway and go down the street and just whack the throttle wide open. That's kind of like a dyno. That's where you're going to go, oh yeah, there's this much. The reeds are in there for sure for sound. The number one reason they're in there. But they have a secondary effect where they actually act as like a little bit of a very minorly act as sort of like a supercharger, because they're not letting that pulse, where there's the cam overlap and stuff, they're not letting that pulse go back all the way to the air filter and have to get sucked in. It keeps that intake tract actually charged. I know this because I know the guy that invented it. I rode one of the very first bikes with the reed stuffed in it, and they're like, "Hey, go ride this." And the first thing I came back and I said, "Hey, like, I don't know what you did to this thing, but it has more torque." And it was a bigger reed block, and there's some other stuff. It was a prototype thing, but it was real interesting. And so I know the difference. I know where I ride. I know where most people ride. And a lot of times when people pull the reed block out, the throttle response and the torque response gets a little funny, so they don't ride it where it used to be better. And then they start feeling this snap or this hit, which goes, oh yeah, that's more power. But I promise you, when you really need that power, it spins the wheel, and then you have a problem. Don't ask me how I know. I just made it all that up. Yeah. I hope that was clear. I want to make that very clear. So, yes, Bob.
So Athena, the Italians,
Right.
have been building reed valves into cylinder heads on race cars that have really high camber. And
Yeah.
that's to increase make it drivable at all down low when they're starting to come out of the fork.
Yeah, it's a high RPM engine. And you think about it, the idea with these engines, the way they're building them, is, especially with the KTMs and whatnot, is it's a high-performance race engine that they're trying not to detune. And they're trying to make it quiet. And there's stuff that they do. So it is a bit of a thing. I will guarantee you that the reed valve 500 makes less power on the dyno at high RPMs 100% of the time because it's restrictive. On the 350, a little bit. On the 250, not much at all. Because it's not restrictive enough to make that happen. But on the 500, I guarantee you. But I don't ride my 500 there that much. I want to have good power where I want it. So that's why I put that comment in there. And then people are like, "Oh, dude, you know, they didn't come out and just say you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
They just started spitting out all this other crap. What's that? That's an interesting noise. Where did that come from? Don't worry about it. Right. Is the whole show going to collapse?
Victor Andrade, he says you can buy pure
Andrade.
You can buy pure glycerin and mix it with the water to raise the boiling point of the water a lot.
Right. Victor gets banned from Facebook a lot.
Oh.
And whether it's a bomb of words or it's an interesting thing that you probably shouldn't necessarily be doing or need to do. But he does ride a CR500, so
There you go.
got to trust a man.
Logain says on YouTube, you said you run stock ECU on your new bikes, but then why does everyone say you can't add PMB
Pro Moto billet
NCAP
and cap.
aftermarket exhaust without aftermarket ECU? Can you explain their logic and why it's wrong?
Okay, so you can do this, and it does increase the flow a little bit. I mostly switch the muffler end cap and or to a different muffler to reduce the heat that's backed up by the muffler. And it helps a little bit with a certain type of throttle response. It gives it a little bit quicker a pickup. Like the stock ones, they don't pick up because it basically, the minute you start producing power, the minute you're starting to produce flow through there, it kind of gets backed up and it becomes a little bit of a restriction. And so by just opening up a little bit, and I run basically stock mufflers with the very last little end piece, the perforated thing out of it. Sometimes I run with there's another restrictor in there that sometimes are short. I've shortened them before and made them a little less restrictive, but you can go overboard by cutting the stock one and make it worse, make it sound horrible, number one. I don't have a ton of experience with the Pro Moto billet end cap, but I do have a lot of experience with the FMFQs. And the FMFQ, you just slide it right on, and it makes an improvement, and it reduces the heat, and it's not a problem. The stock ECU really, at that point in the system, the stock ECU can handle it because it's not flowing so much that it's really leaning it out a ton. If you go to like something like, let's say, an open muffler, like when you take the sound insert out, like on whether it's an FMF or a Graves or a Yosh or whatever, and you slide one of those on there that's open, for sure, then the stock ECU can't keep up, and it just runs horribly. Actually, it runs okay on top, but it revs so quickly up top that it makes the power kind of not so usable because it's super lean, which lean means, like I always say when you're tuning your fuel injection, lean feel equals wheel spin. So if I always say adding fuel adds traction, taking fuel away reduces traction. That's what you feel. And for sure, when you just just take you can just take it and take your insert in and out and just go on something that's a medium traction surface, something where the bike will spin up, and take the insert in and out and ride it down there and feel how it spins up, and you will see this. So those are that's what I think. And Chris Reel, who does a lot of sound testing, so he knows about this.
Yeah.
Says the reeds help on initial throttle. The short intake column of air is not fighting a reverse pulse of pressure. That's exactly what I said, except he said it better. That's why it's better to have that. So, did you learn anything yet today?
Just today or just right there?
Today. Let's just do the global thing today. Did you?
Yeah.
What's the best thing you learned today, Cooper?
That you definitely need to service your bearings on your linkage.
Right. And the root cause of the problem is generally
Water.
that you pressure washed in there trying to clean that off.
Yep.
Yeah, I watched. I observed him pressure washing a bike earlier because that was his first job this morning, was to wash
And I did it wrong.
all the bikes that Matt got dirty. And so I watched a direct pressure application to swing arm pivot. I was like, okay, I gotta go help this out. So, anyways, everybody on Instagrams, thanks for joining in. I didn't see any questions come across there, but a lot of people waved and did all this kind of stuff. So great. If you're wondering where you can find us, it's dirtbiketest.com. Don't be like Travis. Don't crash out on a Tacosaurus. Did you get any of those ums? It's still at 1. I just dropped 3.
Not good. He's slacking.
Yeah. So we'll see you on the other side. And don't forget, I just uploaded an I've Got You in My Pocket. And if you don't know what I've Got You in My Pocket is, it's an audio experience. And yes, I know I could do it with a GoPro, but it wouldn't be the same because I want you to close your eyes and dream you're riding along with me. Okay, with that, we'll see you in the near future. Catch you soon. Instagrammer, see ya. I turn that off. And we're back to the regular show. Right?
Yep.
Why don't you do the Yamaha 2-stroke read?
Bam. Here we go.
Getting all of our commercials out early.
Yep. Experience pure performance and exhilarating power with the full line of Yamaha YZ 2-stroke bikes. Visit YamahaMotorsports.com today to explore what's new for 2022. The revised YZ 125 makes the perfect step-up machine featuring an all-new engine, revised 6-speed transmission, new brakes and suspension settings, improved rider ergonomics.
Ergonomics.
Shit.
Ergonomics.
I was gonna
Have a titty tail with your ergonomics.
With aggressive styling and more. The YZ250 also delivers improved rider. Oh, that's another one. Ergonomics. With
That's
front
good,
and
yeah.
rear brakes, updated suspensions, settings, and aggressive styling. For a truly race-inspired look, check out the YZ250 and YZ125 Monster Energy Yamaha Racing Editions. And for the next generation of riders, the YZ65, YZ85, and the YZ85LW deliver big bike specs and a smaller package. Visit YamahaMotorsports.com, find your Yamaha YZ, and enter the victory zone today.
I almost got my Instagram post all logged in when you did that. Good job.
Thank you.
I rode a YZ125. I felt like I entered the victory zone, like just by sitting on it. I sat on it and, felt the new ergonomics. Then I twisted the throttle. You can listen to that on I've Got You in My Pocket, episode number, I think it's like 16 or something like that. Been a little while. So I'm going to describe what Tech Talk Taco Tuesday is right now. Jimmy Lewis and co-hosts talk about motorcycle and motorcycle product-related questions.
Remember, guys, you can also call in to the Hot Seat Hotline at 775-318-5515 if you want to talk to Jimmy Lewis.
Or I can answer your questions, hopefully.
Yeah.
So, anyways, the next thing is the next question.
Adjusting float level video. Nice quick tip, and I hate carbs too. It's hard to be patient with the people who had bad mouth. FI.
Patient with the people who...
It's like bad mouth.
Be patient with people that badmouth FI.
What's FI mean?
Fuel injection.
Oh,
Did you learn something else today?
bam, right there.
Right there. Fuel injection. I had to literally, it was like last Friday and Saturday was float level problem week. I had to adjust floats on 3 different bikes.
Ooh.
And I fixed one of them, went out to the track, and I actually made it too low. And then I went literally a half a lap, and the thing was fuel starving, so I had to go back in and do it. And what was really funny is we parked, and another dude rolls up in a 2-stroke, parked right across from us, got out of the car, and what did he do? Had to go into the carburetor and start doing jetting. I'm like, F carbs. so over carburetors at that point. I didn't like them, but I got him tuned up. I did that. I did it on that bike, and what other bike needed a? Oh, the Beta X trainer. That's what I did. The cross trainer. I'm supposed to call it cross trainer, not an X trainer. Cross trainer. We have a video of that bike.
No, we don't.
Yeah, we do.
Yep, we do.
We do have a video of that bike.
You ready of it?
You want to see why maybe you should adjust the float levels on that bike? Okay, we're gonna run a little video. Wow, the volume's pretty high on that, but this is normal. This is Cooper testing the float level on the Beta X trainer. Actually, he was testing the front brake. Front brake's pretty good in that bike, huh?
Oh, works solid. A little bit too good.
So, yeah, we're not sure if that's what knocked the float level out of adjustment.
Could have been.
Could have been. So, Chris Hitchcock says Electroner SC smart carburetor will solve jetting, and nothing hits better than a carb. Chris, first of all,
Carburetors should go to hell.
and I don't know if they actually solve jetting. I don't think, in my honest opinion, and I've ridden a few of them, I don't think they're better than fuel injection for power delivery, and especially after riding the new KTMs, those are really, really good, and it's a whole nother level up, especially for motocross. And I think you're going to find very quickly that fuel injection can hit better than a carburetor, 100% better than a carburetor at any RPM, and not just when it's kind of bogging from a low RPM coming into the power band. But I do agree, currently right now, Chris, nothing hits like a carburetor. And so you're correct. So Victor says FFI. What is FFI?
I'm guessing he was saying that about the fuel injected. Maybe he added another F.
F, like the word.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Oh, so he's joining the parade. Well, he's got a CR500. They don't make fuel injected CR500s yet. Yet they never will, actually.
All right, so another question.
Actually, pictures of Honda's, Johnny Campbell posted some pictures of the old EXP 400, which was the rally bike that Honda ran in Dakar when they were kind of experimenting with clean fuel injected 2-strokes, or that's what they said it was. It was interesting. It was radical active combustion, and they were pre-detonating the fuel, and didn't work, obviously, or Honda would still be making 2-strokes. Okay, next.
Ollie Christopher says, right on, Jimmy. Yes, my Beta has an old FCR carb, and yes, I like the FI better. I had to adjust my float right after taking delivery. Ooh.
This is, I think that if you have a really good Beta dealer, they might know this, because all you had to do was take our cross trainer, and this bike had been to another media outlet, but they probably didn't notice this. You just had to put it on a little incline, especially angling forward, and it would start dripping fuel. And the carburetor's already inclined quite a bit to begin with, and I'm pretty sure that the key and carburetors are bench set up to be kind of level on the bike, not so much of an aggressive angle. And the pickup tube, the drain tube that goes out the bottom of the float bowl, so the float bowl drain, not the air bleeds at the top, if that gas gets splashed up forward and it's high, it starts leaking out. So this could be a more common than known, and who knows? What did we get? How far did we go that day? 36, 38 miles or something like this?
Yeah, didn't you say we had to put it on reserve?
I put it on reserve coming down the road.
Yeah.
It ran out. I was kind of surprised. I thought for sure I'd get at least 40 before it even hit reserve. But most of it. It's not that it's running that inefficient. I think a lot of it was spilling out of the carburetor, and it was on its side a lot. Do you know how that happened?
No, not at all.
Yeah. So a little bit spilled out there.
Somebody must have took it.
Especially on the side. Chris says, don't get me wrong. I'm stoked for that new TBI. Can't wait to try that. Yeah, don't try that unless you have about 10 grand easily accessible in your pocket immediately following your test ride. I have a problem right now. The thing is here's where it's good. So it's not the TBI that's good. It's the electronically controlled power valve. This is where they're going to be able to do really, really crazy stuff. So, next question.
It's from Les Drass Bikes.
Les Drass.
Logan's already laughing, so I said it wrong.
Let me see what it says.
Les Drax Bike.
Les Drax. Oh yeah.
He said G-Day, so it's good day, right?
Yeah.
We went over this. All right.
That means he's Chinese, right?
No, Canadian, right?
Oh.
Or maybe it's just a
I don't know.
United States thing. I don't know.
Does he have little beady eyes and live underground?
Just watch Geisup. Guy Spy.
Here we go. It's going on list. Geisup Tales.
What? Did I say it wrong?
Probably.
You say it, Logan.
I don't know what it is.
You don't know what that is?
Vlog on Starkvarg.
Hey, should we do that game where you can't say the word but you can describe it and make motions and what's
Is that heads up or something? No.
Pictogram or something?
There's
no.
no Instagram's that thing that you guys spend all day on.
Pictogram is the writing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't say the words. Anyway, so it's Gypsy Tales, by the way. Gypsy, not Geisup.
That was close.
It's okay.
They sounded wet in the gusset with admiration. I'm confused.
Oh, hold on a second here. Yeah, he's got some Australian lingo here real quick. G'day, just watched Gypsy Tales vlog on the Stark Varg. They sounded wet in the gusset with admiration. Can you source, steal one, and review? Your content is God. Well, Jesus at least. Cut out blasphemy if it's not Costas.
It's God. I like
God.
that.
Well, at least he knows what I think about myself. So, let's get straight to the point. Hey, Les Drax, I've been told that we are going to get a Stark when they come to the United States. Now, if I keep up saying all this stuff, I'm sure it'll happen later rather than sooner, I would guess. But yeah, they had a good caller on most of the journalists over there because I wanted to know about the charging. I wanted to see somebody talk about the charging, how they plugged it in, what were they using to charge it, how long it took. Why were they only allowed to ride a certain amount of laps? What was the issue with the overheating that nobody seemed to talk about that was sort of happening? There was a lot of stuff going on there. How come they only got to ride it in 60 horsepower form and not 80 horsepower like they talked about in their really interesting guess what we're going to do video? And this is all the kind of stuff that these are the kind of questions that I think a journalist should answer. So hopefully I get to ride one. Because if they just have people tripping over themselves to just say, oh, it's great, oh, it's great, oh, it's great, they're not going to bother to come and have somebody tell you like it really is. Because that's not the message they want to get out there. Now, eventually, the regular people riding it will start doing it. But when you only have a small audience, and you don't have a lot of credibility, a history of doing this, you can't compare it to a lot of other stuff, then you don't get to you can say all stuff all along that the message doesn't travel as quick. But if somebody that knows this, understands it, it's ridden Cannondales and Husabergs and bikes like, remember when this crazy company Yamaha built a 4-stroke motocross bike? That was right after, Husaberg did it too, by the way. And it was going to, change the world. And then they made a 250F version that was going to change the world. Well, stuff like that every once in a while happens, but a lot of these companies come up and they're going to do stuff that's really crazy, and they sort of jump the gun. I mean, everybody will tell you Cannondale is probably one of the top 10 motorcycle flops, worst bikes ever, but look at the stuff on the Cannondale and compare it to a modern day bike, and then say, oh, there was something there. Yes, Bob.
this may be a classic case of them not throttling their marketing department efficiently enough.
Throttling the marketing department efficiently is what Bob
Marketing
said.
department is making statements to the engine
Well, no,
manufacturers
the front man. I honestly think that they were in a position where they needed funding. They needed a round of funding, and you know this from your previous jobs and stuff. Like people say stuff because it can affect investors. It can affect stock prices. They need to show something to investors. Like investors go, well, you guys have just sucked up X amount of $1 million, and what do you have? And it's like, well, we're going to announce it next week. And they're like, okay, yeah, it better work. So there's a lot more to it. There's this whole business side, which I don't understand very well. I mean, you don't see me running a business podcast. I'm just complaining about motorcycles all the day long.
You actually do, because
I run a business podcast.
if somebody is going to invest some money in that company, they will hire someone like you to do due diligence.
Oh, due diligence. Okay, I'm available for due diligence for any potential Stark Varg investors or any. Actually, if you want to get in the motorcycle business, first of all, I'll tell you it's a stupid idea because unless you really love it and you want to just dump money in it, if you got money to burn, you should just buy a trophy truck. You just buy, or an Ultra 4 car is even better because then trophy truck's getting an all-wheel drive so they can spend money exponentially. Yes, what do we got?
You're hot.
I'm hot. I know I'm hot. Well, thanks, Logan.
Your mic.
Check my grinder lately.
Mr. SS, you should call in and ask those questions at 775-318-5515. Did you read it?
Does that mean somebody called in? Is that what that beep is?
No, it's just
Somebody's running.
Tyler's phone going.
Is your not girlfriend bored out of her skull with our show yet? Nope. Okay, just checking. Because we just mean to entertain here. Do you know how many other not girlfriends Logan's brought in here before? You want to guess? Don't be giving her signals. Yeah. Just checking. Next question.
Is from Kreft video. Adam is really good. I've run his stuff for a number of years. It's nice that he's local and rides the same terrain as I do. So a great understanding of what will work. Jake Mateers running Kreft on his 500 now and seems to be working well.
Yes. So we did a video. It's
On Craft.
it's on YouTube's Bob. It's like this other place on the internet where you can go and watch videos. Dirt Bike Test puts up videos there, and for the people that don't like to read,
It's really good.
I actually blah 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 blah, kind of like what I'm doing here, and I explained the Kreft suspension. I explained how we tested it and all this stuff that we did. So yeah, I know Jake. Jake helps us at our schools up in at Cispus Cycles up in the Pacific Northwest.
Cool dude.
Yeah, cool dude. I think that one of the best things about if you're going to have your suspension modified is having somebody that understands you and how you ride. And everybody says, "Oh, racers especially, I need kit suspension, I need factory suspension." It's junk. It is literally junk until you have the guy that understands how it works, that goes out to the track with you and watches you ride and makes the changes based on his view of what it's going on and your feedback to come up with a setting. Until you get a setting in factory suspension, it's junk. So just buying factory suspension doesn't fix anything. It just puts the problem in a different location. So back to my suspension thing, I'm picky, and I actually like the stock KTM suspension. So I sent them KTM 500 suspension that I was actually pretty happy with. But I said, hey, if I could improve it, I would want it improved here, here, and here. And they did that.
Yeah.
And so and that's what any good suspension tuner would do. Had they come out and watched me ride, I promise you, I wouldn't have had to send the shock back. I think I sent it back two times at least.
Yeah.
It would have only had to go back one time because they probably just didn't
Understand.
Well, they didn't trust me. They just did like not to say like I think they thought that maybe they didn't realize what an emphasis I put on bottoming and why I do it. It's kind of it's a safety thing, and And so the stock shock has really good bottoming control, and they know this. They actually call it a wall. They say that they feel like the stock bottoming control on the KTM EXCs with the PDS is essentially a wall. I use that wall. I know that wall's there, and I use it. I'm not afraid to run my suspension down and use the bottoming. And I think most people don't ever actually use the full stroke of the shock, or they don't feel like they do, and they probably couldn't tell you the difference when they do and when they don't, because it's a big hit. And that feels stiff or harsh to some people. So they did a good job. They really did.
Good customer service,
and
too.
you get great customer service. It's like first class. They're like scientists, like I said in the video. They do this thing. Actually, somebody actually asked me on the video, and I wish it was on here. He said, "What did I choose? Like 1 to 5?" And I don't even remember going through that process where you pick a 1 to 5 number in there and like how stiff you want it, which to me is like it's kind of a stupid question. It's like you have to say here's stock, and I want it to be this direction or that direction from stock, because stock is like it's 1 on plush and cushy, but it's a 5 on bottoming. So like where do I want it? I wanted to keep the same bottoming, and I wanted everything else to be a little bit stiffer. So maybe I put 4 if I had to guess what it was. But that they did a very detailed ask, question, and answer back and forth. Like what was I going to be using the bike for? And and typical Jimmy, everything. Like what's your weight? It can be 180 to 220 pounds depending on the beer. So next on the list,
Patrick Berry. I put Creft on my KTM 350 XCF. The sag was spot on out of the box. It was glorious for the first 20 hours, then it suddenly got too soft. Don't know if I would do it again. Great technology and expensive, but my stock 2020 KX250X suspension is better.
compared to his, I would say that his KX is more suited to the type of riding he's doing.
It sounds like maybe track or something.
Yeah, it's and what did he say? He had a 350 XCF.
Yeah.
Well, the KX250 comes with basically motocross suspension with softer springs. So maybe they just didn't make his suspension stiff enough, or he didn't. Let's see, first 20 hours.
He
and then
also could have
So-
sent it to Creft before the suspension was completely broken in.
That's a great point there, Logan. Believe it or not, because you sit around here and you actually pay attention. Unlike my new co-host.
I don't know how to listen to ums, but I know how to listen to motorcycle
yeah.
stuff.
So what Logan is bringing up is sometimes we see people that take their suspension right off the bike and send it to get, because it's junk. I mean, stock suspension's junk, right? Everybody agrees with that except for me. Stock suspension is junk? No. Before you ever send your suspension in, break it in, like put 5 hours on it, and then at least you can tell them what you want done to it other than just stiffen it up. But you can it breaks the stuff in, the contaminants get kind of removed, it kind of polishes things up inside there, just like breaking in your motor. Just break the suspension in, and then your service, because like Logan said, if you just took new suspension in there and you sent it to them and they put all this new stuff in there, that new parts are going to be breaking in some of the other parts, and it's going to break in, and then it could go. And I actually asked them about that. I said, "Hey, when should I send this back in? Like, what's your take on it?" And they said, "Well, with our, they have some different coatings and finishes." And they said, "We have pro racers that just beat the crap out of stuff that it needs to come back at 10 hours."
Ooh.
Most people, we suggest like 40 hours, but we have people that go 80 when you pull it apart, and it's really not that bad. So 20 hours sounds, if he's riding it hard, and it sounds like if he's on a KX right now and he's liking the way that the KX works, which is stiff, yeah, he might have been riding that KTM hard. So I think that's the thing. Hopefully you guys are learning something from this. Hey, if you want to comment, if you want to have concerns, if you want to tell me I don't know what I'm talking about, you can comment on our YouTube video. That's this. You can send us an email. It's my name at dirtbiketest.com, or send it to Matt at Matt at JimmyLewisOffroad.com. Matt doesn't have an at dirtbiketest email. I can't afford that yet. We're not there. We're trying to get a couple more sponsors to bring in. Do you think Bob's arm ever gets tired from all the hand waving?
He's so excited, though.
He's excited about something. Does that scare you that Bob's excited for this show? It does. Okay, Bob?
Every successful race car driver and motorcycle racer has a relationship with a individual engineer that is a good technical listener, and they're good technical explainers.
Okay, so Bob says every successful race car driver or racer has a connection with his suspension tuner or chassis engineer or this, and this is true. Yeah, no, you know what? I know some people that just ride anything. It doesn't matter. They realize that. Well, actually, they're less of a head case than their competitors, and they just ride through it. So, yes, Bob.
I remember standing there watching a
Remember, you're not a host on this show, and if you want to, you just have to come on the other side of this camera. It doesn't bite.
a young man and his dad come into the pro circuit pit at Mammoth.
Right.
And all the young man could say was, "It handles like a shopping cart."
Right.
And so Dr. Bones is standing there
Yeah.
looking at
So what do you do? You're a suspension tuner, and somebody says it handles like a shopping cart. What do you do? Like at that point, like
So you take the clickers in, you turn them in,
and turn them right back out.
You turn them back up.
Right. That's
Tell
usually
'em it's great.
right. That's I've seen that work before. Yeah. Turn a spring preload in it, and then like all of a sudden it goes from shopping cart to magic carpet. And then you ask, then the kid goes out and you ask Dad, so what were you running the ride height at? What was the sag? And he's like, huh?
Yeah. And
When do I where do I send it for the revalve? Can you port it while we're at it? Port it.
to reinforce your point.
Reinforce my
the
point.
Number one thing was making sure the sag was correct. That was the first thing.
Yeah,
Before you take
yeah.
the
That's
clicker.
any good suspension tuner will usually ask. So I've worked with these guys before. They ask you what your sag is. They say what's your sag number. And generally I know, but a lot of times I'm riding different bikes and stuff like that. And I'll say, well, I know it's good. I've got the balance right. And then they go, okay, because you start saying stuff like this, and it's like, well, what's the problem? But if you don't know where your sag is, or you can't say that it's proper, or then they'll measure it. And are you measuring it hot or cold? There's a lot of stuff that goes into this, and I see a lot of people. Sometimes you just need to just get back to the basics, and that's where you start. And I would never ever send suspension into anybody, I don't care who it is, unless I could tell them what I was expecting the suspension to do better, and then that's their job is to fix it. So, last question, Bob.
Yeah.
Oh, good, you brain farted. Okay, at this point. We're getting close. One more question there? We have
Yep.
another one?
Finding neutral on the dirt bike video. Margaret is asking.
Finding neutral?
Yeah, on the dirt bike.
Okay. Do we have is this our video?
Must be.
Okay. Who is it?
Margaret. Margaret's asking, finding neutral has never been a thought for me. On my 5 other bikes until this 2023 KTM EXC, the amount of pressure it takes to get it out of first or second takes it right past neutral, hitting it low or tapping it fast, either direction. Rolling the bike forward and back to relieve tension, I just keep trying and featuring and feathering until the traffic light turns green.
So I'm going to just go down because I see this every once in a while when we're at our schools and I watch people struggle with it. The first thing is clutch adjustment. Your clutch is not completely disengaging the clutch, and it's keeping tension on the transmission, and that way it's not shifting freely. And you have to put so much tension on the shifter to get it to go from first into neutral, from second down into neutral, that it goes right past neutral because there's not enough detent on the shift ramp to cause it to stop. So you put a lot of tension, it pops, it goes right into the next gear because the clutch, it's dragging, and there's a lot of tension on it. That's number one. So check your clutch adjustment. Make sure that it's completely disengaging it. If you can shut the bike off and very easily find neutral, but then when the bike is running, you can't, it's generally clutch drag. So that's number one. If you can't find neutral when the bike is not running, in other words, it pops right through, then I would check the shift detent spring. If the bike, she says 2023,
Yeah.
that thing's brand new. Put some miles on it, honey.
Yeah.
Like ride it, and it will probably loosen up. Typically, KTMs for me take about 3 oil changes or about 10 hours before they start shifting premium. So
Yeah.
And one of the things that they do a lot of times when they break these bikes in is they just run them in a parking lot. And they're just constantly rifling through the transmission, just making shifts, putting loads on and off. And that brings me to another question. I think I sent it to Matt, but I don't see it in here. There was another question where a guy was commenting on he had a KTM 300 and he broke it in, and then when he finally, after his whatever recommended break-in procedure, he finally went to get on the gas, and it just made no power. It just wouldn't rev up.
Oh.
And this was in another internet group where he got like 20 things. Everybody told him to do everything under the sun. And they're like, oh, your fuel filter's plugged. Oh, the bike's a piece of shit. Oh, it went across the spectrum on all the different things to do. And finally, one guy said, hey, I had a similar problem, and my power valve spring was disconnected. And this is a brand new bike. And so I saw this, and I couldn't believe the amount of comments of all the stuff that everybody threw out there. And half of them didn't even read the fact that he clearly described, hey, I checked my fuel filter. I did this. I did that. He did all these things. And they're just like, I gotta put a comment in. I'm going to put in fuel filter. Okay. Your ECU, you got a bum ECU, you got to get this. You got to get that part. Stock bike sucks. So this one guy said, hey, I tried this. The guy said, that's interesting. It sounded like the same symptoms. He went and looked at it. Sure enough, the power valve spring, which is the one underneath the power valve cover by the activation arm, was not properly installed and hanging down and preventing the power valve from opening. It was locking it closed. So his power valve was not opening. This is a typical, it ran fine down low and cruised around, but once he, opened it up, it wouldn't go. He never noticed this for the first 3 hours. And so I was like, okay, you hadn't touched this thing at all? Because I'm under the impression, and I called KTM and I reconfirmed this today. If you buy a brand new KTM, before it ever leaves Austria, it's started up 2 times. It started up and run 2 times. One when it's just an engine. The engine comes off the assembly line. It goes into a room. They plug fuel into it, and they run it and run it through the gears. They make sure all the gears work, and they run it in there, and they do a sample power of it. And it's a pass-fail test. That's it. And then when the bike gets bolted into the chassis, right before it goes and gets put into the crate, they do the same thing again. They run it through the gears, and they don't even put gas in the tank. They just hook the because they don't want any fuel in the tank. They hook it up, they run it through the gears, and I don't think that one is actually for power or anything. But if that bike had gone through those things, you'd think it would have been caught there. But you think about the amount of the bikes they turn out. Okay, maybe this is, I call them Friday afternoon bikes. And when I was racing for KTM and I used to get a supply of bikes, I got some Friday afternoon bikes where, I got bikes that weren't actually the bike that was supposed to be in the crate. I got a bike. It was called an EXCG. There was a fully street legal 2-stroke KTM 250 that had a double walled pipe and all this crazy stuff. And it said EXC USA, not EXCG. And it was just like mislabeled. So this kind of stuff happens. And but I was really surprised that nobody that hadn't been caught. And that's why I asked him. I said, hey, this thing was stock, not monkeyed with? And he's like, no. And so interesting that kind of stuff happens. I suspect that somehow or another, the dealer should be able to fix this or do it. But, who knows? Some dealers these days, I don't know if they actually take it out and run it up and down the street when they assemble them. Who knows? Probably can't do it anymore for things. Okay, Bob, this is your last hand raising. Is it a good one?
No, the dealer's supposed to do that.
Dealers, that's what they call PDI, right? Prep delivery, PDI. That's what you pay like the $600 for. Yeah, I've paid that a number of times, and I don't know why I paid for it because the dealer never saw the bike. But anyways,
for
hey,
ad?
What do we got?
Should we go for the ad break?
You want to? You're in charge.
8 o'clock.
It's 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we're gonna. Do we have any more questions?
Nope, that's it.
That's the end of the printed out questions and stuff. So you know what that means? We're going to take our break and we're going to go back to the Taco Moto Rooster Endo segment. That's where you send in the picture of your bike. You had to have done it earlier, by the way. You tell us what it is and the mods, and we comment on it. And then somebody at the end of that will win a $100 gift certificate from tacomoto.co. I'd like to thank, additionally, Yamaha Scott Sports. You know what I wore at Sandy Valley at the motocross the other night? Their
Goggles.
Yeah, wear their goggles. It's good. Yeah, wear their goggles. Should we just stop right there?
Yep.
I was going to tell you about the lens, and you just completely made the name of the lens just vaporize out of my head. But I'm going to go get one, and that's what we're going to talk about for our product tested
It
segment.
looked cool in your. I watched
The part where you can watch
pocket?
on I've Got You in My Pocket?
Yeah.
Dude, I was wearing, so in the beginning, the sun goes down right into
Yes.
the straightaways there. You're riding into the sun at like 8 o'clock at night. 106 degrees, by the way. 106 degrees outside, into the sun. And I was wearing my light-sensitive lenses.
Yes.
And those are usually pretty good, but there was a Moto like where the sun just went down and I couldn't see anything. And I'm like, I've got these other lenses. I'm going to get them. I'll get the name right. And they were so bitching. I was 7 miles an hour faster in every turn because I could see the turn. So, okay, let's go ahead and take our commercial break.
What's up, Moto Buddies? Mike here from Taco Moto Co. What is the Taco Touch? It's the best service in the industry. Virtually 24/7 tech support via email or text, and it's like having a dirt bike doctor on call every day of the year, helping you fix your bike or recommend parts or setups for you. If you've ever received an order from us, you'll know that the Taco Touch extends to our fulfillment, and our orders come with the coolest stickers that you've ever had, buying parts from anybody before, and a handful of root beer barrel candies. All of our Taco Moto Co. branded components come with a no questions asked lifetime warranty, and we'll even extend out the warranty of other manufacturers, OEM, and aftermarket parts where we can, sometimes for life. We test and tune endlessly and exhaustively and obsessively. We're trying to destroy everything that we can before you get your hands on it to look for weaknesses and to improve it, or to make recommendations to the manufacturer. And if it's something that doesn't meet grade, then we don't offer it on the store. Everything that we carry is something that we have personally used, tested, and ridden, and raced, and knows meets the high Taco Touch demanding standard. Go out and get some adventure.
Since 2009, Seat Concepts has been dedicated to making the best aftermarket seats. More comfort, more grip, more riding. For 10 years, we've continued to raise the bar. Innovation and American craftsmanship makes Seat Concepts the world-leading manufacturer of power sports seats.
And we are back, believe it or not. It's I can barely believe it myself. So Tech Talk Taco Tuesday, show number 148. It's everybody's favorite time.
Yep.
Rooster Endo. So everybody says, why did you come up with Rooster Endo? Well, everybody likes to see their bike on the show, right?
Yeah, it's cool.
But what about the ridiculing and the yeah, what about that? So the guy had the red power band installed.
Oh, talking about the power valve?
The power valve?
What are we
On which one were we talking about the red power valve?
Maybe it was the Margaret one about the neutral.
I don't know how the
don't
power
remember.
valve affects neutral. Yeah. I'm not sure, David. You're going to have to clarify that one.
We should
Oh,
answer this guy's
okay.
question, so we're done with questions.
SS.
Yeah.
What does SS want to know?
He says, I got a fresh 2022 300 XCW TPI. Trying to outfit it for deep sand riding. Have added a have added a air filter cover, rad fan, and Battlecross X10R tire. Should the stock oil injection be okay or anything else needed?
I don't think that those modifications, in my professional opinion, would need to change the oil injection. I think
For
you're going to
sand
be okay.
Yeah.
Deep sand, I could see where if you're really, they're actually, here's the thing, is they're actually designed, to know when they're, they're higher RPMs, higher loads and stuff like this. When the bike's like that, it's putting a good amount of oil in there. I mean, I notice it just on, if I'm out here riding, kind of desert riding and doing high-speed desert riding where it's big throttle openings, I notice how much more oil I use. And I've heard that the range goes from like 60 to 1 down to 100 to 1. Is kind of like the effective range. So when you're idling around, it's pretty much 100 to 1, and when you're pinned, it's 60 to 1. If you're using a good quality oil, 60 to 1 should be enough. And I don't think that, especially on a 300, that you're really gonna. I don't think that the only thing that would really concern me would be the air filter cover, which would allow it to be a little bit leaner. But in fact, I don't think that's. Yeah, what would be I'm curious what the purpose of the air filter cover is. Like what that did it help throttle, did it help throttle response? And if you want to change, well, no, I don't think that the oil I don't think you're ever going to be oil deficient. And if you're riding in deep sand, you might want to try one of the fuel tuners that allows you to add a little bit of fuel, and just adding fuel will help it run a little bit. David Potts says it's a joke regarding all the comments and the guy with the KTM that wouldn't rev. Oh, yeah. There was people telling him to change his power valve spring, and the power valve wasn't even moving, so the spring wouldn't have done anything. But yeah, that's the internet for you. A lot of free answers, kind of like this show. You know what the show costs everybody? Free. But it's not free because we have awesome companies like Moto, Yamaha, Scott Sports, Climb, DDC. I wore Climb vented gear when it was 100 and something degrees at the track.
Yeah.
And I was like in heaven, especially when the sun went down.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you usually don't want to wear vented gear when the sun goes down, but out here, yeah, you do.
Trail Tech, Fasst Company, Seat Concepts, and Bulletproof Designs.
And this segment is brought to you by Moto. We're going to get right to bike number 1 on Rooster Endo. And
It's from Donald Bowerman.
Donald Bowerman. All I see is checkers and kind of an out-of-focus photo.
Maybe he's part of the Checkers MC.
Could be. What has it got?
It's a 2019 FE 501. It's a dirt bike.
Okay, so he's done the important things here, by
Yep.
the way. It's
Naming
very
the
important
bike.
that I want to have a picture of your bike, and I want to know the year, make, and model.
Yep. It's a dirt bike, snow bike, supermoto commuter, and a Trans-American Trail adventure bike. The mods is black plastic kit with homemade graphics kit, M9 suspension, Vortex ECU, Pro Moto end cap, seat concepts wide, 3.2 liter tank, Cyclops headlight, sick ass bar switches, and fender
Liter
eliminator.
tank. Did it say liters?
It put an L, so I'm gonna guess liters.
It's gallons. 3.2 liters is like barely a gallon. Not even a gallon. Not even close to a gallon. It's under a gallon.
Scott Stamper, Trail Tech, Voyager Pro.
How close are L and G on the keyboard?
Not close.
Not close?
I hope you didn't do that.
Okay. Well, I wanted to blame you.
No, it said L.
Okay, that's right. I'm surprised you can pronounce L.
Hey,
Get
come on
it
now.
right. That's good. Are we done?
Yeah, that's it.
I'm sure there is more.
But the build varies for extended use. The Swiss Army knife of dual sports bikes.
Honestly, that is the biggest range of bikes for a single-use bike that I've ever heard of.
Yeah, that's one, two, three.
Snow bike to Transamerica Trail. That's huge.
Yeah.
Those are two completely different things. I think I wasn't sold on the front fender. The front fender kind of like just attracted me. I just kept looking at it, and the
It's
photo's
like the
horrible.
TTR one.
The TTR,
Yeah, it's kind of like fat and wide.
it doesn't help it. That look.
He
Maybe
looks
it's
like he
maybe it's
wrapped
like
it.
a prototype. Maybe he's prototyping something and he doesn't want to see what it really looks like.
It looks like he wrapped it in like Christmas tree wrapping.
Yeah, it does look like Christmas tree wrapping on the front fender.
Yeah.
That's
Well, maybe that's what he says by custom, homemade graphics
just-
kit.
Actually it's a great idea for cheap people like us or me. He took the that stuff you put on the bottom of your drawers, the drawer, what do they call that stuff? Drawer wrapping paper?
Drawer liner.
Drawer liner, yeah, drawer liner. That looks horrible. Give it a roost. I say roost. What do you?
Roost in it.
No, not that far. Like just get it on the side of roost to where we know it roosts a little bit. I like the variety there. Okay, what's our next one?
Our next one's from Mike Betger.
Mike Betger. Okay,
Yeah.
send me the picture. Hey, you can get your bike on Rooster Endo as well. You just send us a picture. Send it to matt@jimmylewisoffroad.com. He prints them up and prints out the list of your things that you've done to it. And if you don't get it right, I'm going to come down hard on you. And I feel like I'm going to be coming down hard here.
It's a 2020 EXCF 500. Ready for the mods?
Yeah,
Vortex ECU,
right.
PMB end cap, and that's it.
Well, that's not it, because he has a P3 pipe cover and he has a Chirby's handguards, but he does have stock tires. He has a skid plate of some shape or form. I don't
It
know.
looks weird.
I don't know. Enduro Engineering made some plates, but I think theirs have a little bit more coverage there. This could just be a sheet of aluminum that he bolted up to the bottom
Yeah,
of it.
that's what it looks like.
Too
Because it doesn't
embarrassed-
even wrap around.
Too embarrassed to tell us about it. What else do we got going on this thing?
A sticker.
He has a sticker on the side panel.
Yeah.
He needs
And
a George sticker.
And a sticker on the side panel.
Nitro mousses, possibly.
Why nitro mousses? Oh, because the sticker's on the rims?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a good eye, Logan. That could be nitro mousses, but if he put nitro mousses underneath the stock TKC tires, like that's like why? Why? Like why would you take those off and not throw them into the Actually, there's a recall on those I heard, so you can take them off and get another free set of tires. Endo
endo in it.
in it.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, it just didn't take long for that one. Yeah, there was no effort put into that. Like
The photo was good, though.
Hey, you got to at least put $30 worth of effort into your Rooster Endo submission if you think you're going to get $100 out of Taco Mike.
Well, maybe he's like, hey, this is a sign that I need the $100.
But you got to put a little effort. Nothing's free. If we gave it to him
Yeah.
and he got it with that easy, we'll call it easy money. He didn't earn it. He's not gonna feel good about it, and he's gonna expect that to happen all the time.
Yeah.
He's gonna be rolling around with his bike. He'll have $100 worth of extra mods in there, and thinking he's gonna do something great. This guy didn't even load his bike out of the truck.
Kevin Cole.
Kevin Cole.
It's a 2021.
Here, hold on.
KTM
Let me
500.
get. Tell me if I get these things right.
All right.
Double take mirror.
Nope.
It's not on there.
Nope.
Everybody knows I like double take mirrors, and it's on there, and it's not on his list. Does he say worn out tires?
Nope.
He needs some tires. Kevin, you need to get some tires in this thing. He's got a muffler, and I'm not sure if is it a Graves?
Yep.
Graves muffler. Yeah, and so this means that he has a kit, and he has some sort of an ECU in there. I can't see it, but he has an ECU.
Precision.
A precision ECU? Mm-hmm. I'm not familiar with that one.
Oh, it's Get ECU, sorry.
A Get ECU, okay. So he's got the Get ECU, and so this thing makes mean, sick horsepower.
Look at the seat.
Seat concept.
Twice.
Seat concept
Yep.
seat. It's hard to see with the light. The lighting is bad on that shot. Actually, it's better on the screen. So
I'm going to guess some kind of headlight or front mast.
Oh, it looks like it has Scott steering stabilizer.
Yep.
Scott stabilizer on it. That's a good mod. I just put one on my 300. I just got mine for my 300. They're through their back orders, and I was able to get one. So super stoked on that because I did, believe it or not, I had a little tip over on that bike, and I blamed it 100% on not having a steering stabilizer because I usually ride.
I think I was there for that.
Most of my bikes have them, and I really rely on the high-speed damping, and it knocked me. So, and I rode your bike, and it had a Scott steering stabilizer on it, and I said, what the F are you doing?
Yeah, you yelled at me for that.
Like,
He's got forearms for days or shoulders or something.
like
Something
that thing,
strong.
he had it cranked so tight, it's like he's like
He almost broke my knob trying
he's
to
a
turn it.
he's a wiggle worm in the sand washes. Like, I want my bike to go straight. I'm gonna crank this thing up. Endo. Next. You got to take your bike out of the truck unless your truck is super sweet.
And then you got to show the truck, though.
Yeah, like try to show off the truck a little bit.
Jeff-
Or maybe, what we haven't got here before? Nobody shot their Rooster Endo picture with their girl draped over the bike. They haven't given us the old Trance World test shot, Logan.
My George sticker just fell off my bike.
Oh, what does that have to do with what I was just talking about? I'm sitting here.
That's my girl.
I'm sitting
That
here
was
trying.
random.
I'm sitting here trying to get pictures of girls
My only graphic
secretly
fell
thrown
off.
into the show, and
he's
you're
thinking
worried
about
about your
George.
George
My bike would go higher now because that was the only reason it ended.
because of the George sticker.
It was the only reason.
Do you want to have a well? You got to submit a new photo.
I'm going to submit mine then.
I just winked at Logan really hard. You could set a standard.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put my girlfriend in the photo, but you know what I mean? Just anybody. You can find anybody around here.
All right.
You
It's
know
a
what I mean?
2015 FE350. It's got MX Tech Lucky's bulletproof design shark fin and chain guard protection, BRP Scott stabilizer, TM design skid plate, fastaway lowering link/linkage protection. Oh God, it's that word again.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say titty again. What was it?
You're not gonna. You just said it. You might as well just
All
just
right.
own it.
It's titty tail.
The titty tail.
Yep.
Yeah.
IMS tank and pegs.
Yep.
Hammerhead shifter. Euro map.
Euro map.
Euro map.
Euro
map.
yeah.
On stock ECU with stock pipe.
That means he imported a map from Europe and put it in his American bike.
Nice.
You think that's better?
I don't know. No, not really.
Like, why wouldn't you want the American map?
Yeah.
Good old red, white, and blue map.
Heck yeah.
You got some communist map in there, probably.
It's got a recluse and a Clake SLR. Did I say that wrong?
So the Clake is a clutch and a brake combined into one lever. It's an amazing contraption.
Really?
With a magnitude of adjustments. So many adjustments that I don't think anybody in the world except for the inventor can actually get it right. Oh, you can probably tell that I'm not a super fan of this
Yeah.
because it's hey, but you said it right.
Thanks.
So I think we've had like 3 people in the class. In class, this is by the way, my class. It's called Jimmy Lewis Off-Road Training.
Yep.
I run a riding school where I can make you a better rider, because the best modification for your bike, out of all the modifications we talk about, is a better rider, without a doubt. Because that modification carries on to any bike you own. So if you want to check us out, it's www.jimmylewisoffroad.com. And what I was going to get back to the Clake is 3 out of 3 failures in the class with that contraption. And, who knows? It's very complicated. It's really interesting. Think about it. As you pull on your clutch, it disengages your clutch and applies the brake at the same time. I find it really difficult because I don't associate those 2 fingers with my rear brake, and that's even when I put a recluse extra rear brake on there, I don't actually ever use it unless I think constantly to use it. And the only time I do use it is when my bike is rolling backwards down a hill, and it's sort of a last resort because I can't get my foot on the brake pedal. This bike, I like the photo. I like where it's at.
Yeah, it's cool.
It looks like I
Where
want
do
to
you
go
think
ride.
that's at?
I want to ride off that mountain and down out to wherever. Looks like a lot of trails out there.
It's flat.
It's flat, but he's got mountains
He's
behind
on
him.
the mountain.
He's on the mountain. Actually, the photo's not really that good, but it does make me want to go ride, which is important in my world. What does this do? You decide.
I'm a wrist it. I like it.
Okay, so that bike roosts. And we have what, one more?
Yep.
Hey, Logan, you're
You
doing
got it
pretty good
out.
over there. I see you doing some work. It's not too hard, is it?
Oh my God, is this 2 papers?
Like twice.
Oh, no.
Good Lord. You want to do this one?
Well, I don't know. Give me the damn picture. Give me the picture and let.
Oh boy.
Hey, wait. It's more than 2. It's 2.5 pages
Oh,
of
yes.
modifications.
I counted out, this is a new record for the most mods.
New record for the most mods. The good thing is he's got it leaning up against the wall at his favorite eating spot, which has chicken tenders and signature sides.
And don't forget fresh meat.
Fresh meats too. Yep.
Fresh meats. Where's
Yep.
that?
Top.
Oh, I can't see.
White
it.
letters.
Oh, I can't see the fresh meats on the photo you cut out here. I'll tell you what he needs. He needs some new tires. I can see that from the photo.
And maybe a kickstand.
He did put some effort into this, and a kickstand, so you don't have to lean it up against your favorite eatery's wall.
I don't have a kickstand either, but
You still haven't got one?
just got it.
Got a kickstand. That's good. Kickstand makes a bike stand up.
Yeah, you should run through this. You're good at this.
Jeez, oh, I don't know where I want to.
You can just skim through it.
You want
Wait a minute. Is this a rhyme or a rap?
A riddle? Or no?
Is it
a poem?
a poem?
No.
Oh, he's got it. He's got it broken into Ian Landy.
Yes.
This is a 2021 FE 501. You know what happens when I see these like this? I know what's going on.
Yeah.
This bike is for sale. He's generated this list.
He copied
to
and
put
pasted it.
He's got it. This bike is for sale. So if you want to buy Ian's Landing's bike, let me tell you what it has.
FMF pipe.
It has a worn-out Michelin Desert Race and a golden fatty tire.
At least he said worn out.
I said it.
Oh.
I'm taking liberty to look over. He has a magnetic lanyard kill switch. So you know what the magnetic lanyard that's what you needed on your jet ski. That's
Yeah,
why-
tether.
yeah, tethered kill switch, because I like to make sure when I eat shit that my bike doesn't run away without me, because I've never had that happen before, but it sounds pretty cool, because I don't know when that would ever happen, when it would get away. It's not like it's a watercraft. That's cool. Sick ass turns. He has a lot of other stuff. Moto minded bomber kill switch. Extended charging plug. That's just the back page of 2. Engine. Let's see what he's done. Hey, he has a Recluse Radius CX, and he even tells us the springs he's got in there.
Oh, wow.
The 16B weights and 6 silver springs, which means he's running that thing right. He's got it set up good. Boy, 450 MX throttle body, get ECU, custom tune, California Cycle Works FPR. That's a lot of stuff. Chassis. I'm looking down. There's so many things on this. He's got axle blocks,
Does
steering
he got
damper.
climb goggles?
No, those are Scott goggles, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah.
Scott goggles.
Scott goggles that Cooper over there is trying to put it on there. I don't know whether this bike roosts or endos. I really can't tell. I'm torn. Logan, what do you think?
I can't see it because of the camo. So
You can't. Actually, I do
It's got
kind
a
of.
shark.
I do kind of like his graphics. I like the shark. That's just boisterous enough to just the graphics just say "F you." You know, just like you don't even have to talk to the guy. You know,
He's the wheelie god.
I don't know if he's the wheelie god.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Look,
His plate looks pretty good. So
Okay, so he's got highway dirt bikes, handguards, dashes relocated, ET Racing radiator braces that are, by the way, blue. He has a metal fuel pump filter. Traction control knob.
Chris Hitchcock says kill switch makes an endo for me at least.
Oh, come on, Chris.
I think I'm with him on that.
Really?
He can donate it.
Donate the... Oh,
Yeah, I need one.
If you send... Yeah, Ian, if you send Cooper here your kill switch, the bike might roost. So, it's just... I like the effort. I have to be at least consistent. I like the effort that he put into listing everything on his bike, although I don't use this as an example. I don't want... Actually, you want to know what my biggest problem with this is? You printed out 2 extra pages on my printer, and that cost me some money.
Matt endos.
Matt endoed on this one. This bike roost, Matt endoed. But keep the bullet. Let's go to the bullet point format. Or if you want to write a poem or a rap about your bike, we'll be down with that. We're working on one ourselves, right, Logan?
That's like a country song.
As it's submitted.
Yeah, as it's submitted. Okay, so now we're down to the point of the show where we have to decide who is going to win the $100 from Takamoto. Hey, does anybody have any questions? Because George, he's here now, and he wants to know if we can start the show over from the beginning. Were we out wrestling cattle or something like that up in Montana, George? I'll give you the short version of the story. Logan lost your sticker on his bike, and he wants to know whether his bike now roosts because of that.
Well, it was the girl draped over my bike, so...
That tore it off.
Want one. What?
What?
The girl that you draped over your bike tore your sticker off?
No.
Or you're going to reshoot it with a girl draped over your bike?
It was the girl draped over my bike.
The sticker?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird, Logan.
Oh, yeah.
Logan, George's sticker is not a hot chick. This is George's sticker that I'm showing the camera right now.
They can see.
Yeah, I can't because you got all this stuff. We have to decide. For sure, it's not Kevin because he never unloaded his bike. For sure, it's not Mike.
I like Mike's list. Plain and simple. Made it easy for me.
Ian's list did it for me.
I like Jeff.
I like Jeff's
or-
Donald's
picture.
front fender.
You know
How
what?
about That was cool.
Donald's bike is the most wide-ranging claim of bike. If he did all that stuff with that bike, he gets it. That's
Yeah.
it. It's just, true or liar. I don't know. That bike's gonna go
Congrats,
up there.
Donald.
Yeah, the wide-ranging bike. Donald, reach out to Matt some way or another. And Trevor Hunter, some guy named Trevor Hunter, says, "Why didn't my submission make the cut?"
It's on the list.
It's on the list. Hey, yeah, we went with the first 5, no matter what they were. We said we were doing that, and we did it.
There
So
was another post that got shared to a group, and it was the first 5.
yeah, so you got to be a little quicker on the gun. You got to have those instant notifications for dirt bike tests turned on.
Gotta be quicker than that.
Yeah, make sure that's happening. Hey, everybody wants to know what kind of tequila I'm going to drink tonight. And tonight, oh, look at this. This is the Clase Azul. This is
Got the marble ball.
Plata. Tequila Clase Azul Plata. So this is we usually do the Reposado, but I have some of this, and I haven't had it for a little while, so I thought I'd give it a shot again. So we're going to go ahead and pull the Rooster endo board right off the side of the screen here. Try not to break anything as we do this. So if you're into tequila like I am, the Clase Azul, here's what you got to know about this. Hear that? That's a real nice... Yeah, that's the trick of those. Most people don't know that. So I'll have a little shot of that. And then as soon as Cooper breaks my entire set here, which was put together by Logan, so that means it's going to fall apart. Is it? You got it? You're not going to break anything.
I got it. You just
Okay.
pour your tequila.
I don't need to spill this. Again, I'd like to thank our sponsors, DDC, Yamaha, Taco Moto, Scott Sports, Climb, Trail Tech, Fasst Company, Seat Concepts. I'm really bummed that nobody used the Seat Concepts hot seat hotline. Nobody wants to talk to us. Do you feel slighted by that?
Yeah, kind of sad.
I know how good the Seat Concept seat is because I rode one for 1,500 miles back from Idaho on my KTM 390 Adventure. Quite possibly the best seat that I've sat on for that long a period of time in a long time, because that bike commands a seated riding position. So thanks to Seat Concepts, thanks to their guys for getting that out really quick, and
And
made
putting it on.
and putting it on. That guy was good with
He
staple
was.
gun.
He was good.
He used a half-ass staple gun because that's all we could find out in the field, and got that seat cover to stick. And I tuned it up a little bit with an air stapler when I got back, and everything is good with that. Really nice foam, really good shape. I had like 6 different positions I could sit my butt on that seat, and all of them felt a little bit different for different levels of comfort on the long, what were we, 10-hour days?
It was 7 to 7.
That's 12 then.
Yeah.
Yeah, 12-hour days. So good times. Now, oh yeah, hold on a second. Cooper, do we have any other questions?
We don't, but we could thank our sponsors again.
We
Not
just
again?
did that. You got any new words for us? Hey, does anybody? So the other Plata Azul is even better here in Ensenada, half the price of the U.S. Okay, I'll have to pick some up next time I'm down there, because it's Plata Azul. That's the name. Like,
I'm glad I didn't get to read that.
well, what would you say that word is?
Plata.
Yeah, probably. Azul. I think I would have got the last one. Azul.
Right. So one of the segments we're working on here is Say It with Cooper. And so if you have an interesting motorcycle word, if you're in the chat right now, if you have an interesting motorcycle word, type it into the chat. So some of his favorites, I'll just run it by you have been Tidy Tail, the Bellevue washer, and alloy. So let me just use those. Here's. I don't really want to do this. I'm going to use them in a sentence because it makes it easier to do this. And the thing is I was so pissed off at my Belleville washer that I stood up, tripped over my titty tail, and I smashed my head into the alloy oil plug that I put on my brand new KTM. How does that sound?
Sounds like you're going to be the next rapper.
So, alloy. What is alloy?
Alloy, like, hi. Yeah, no?
No, but what you know what it is? It's alloy.
Oh, I want to say it's that stuff you put a no on the Sunbird. No, we went over this.
So I'm trying to see whether you're confused on the spelling and how to say it, or actually what it is.
Well, what it is like the grade of the aluminum, right, or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bob's
Yeah.
giving me the thumbs up.
Yeah. So that's what alloy is.
Yeah.
And alloy,
Alloy, like a pirate, right?
that's usually ahoy.
Oh.
But you got it right. Yeah. You made it your own.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could start a alloy company. If you don't know what we're
Put it on
talking
a
about,
shirt.
you have to watch that. Oh, here's a word. Tony has a word for you.
Magnesium.
How'd you get that?
Isn't that on the periodic table of elements or something?
That's right. Yes, it is.
Also on the side of your sight cover.
Yeah. Have you ever thrown magnesium in the fire?
No.
That's a good one. That's an exciting one. Yeah. Good one, Tony. That was a good shot. That was almost. Is this Mad Libs now? Somebody says.
Oh.
Jet City Hoonigan.
Oh, that's not even a word. Come on.
That's a
Guys,
word.
it is.
That's totally a word. That's pretty much any
I think I
good.
got that.
That's any good new product on your motorcycle is. Because you're financially strapped, so most parts for you are
Duct tape and zip ties.
right. But there was a word there. We got to scroll that back up there. Say it. What does Jet City Hoonigan want?
It's like Uno.
Uh-huh.
Botanium.
Uno Botanium.
Uno Botanium. That sounds cool, actually.
Uno Botanium.
Yeah.
It's a new metal that you can never have. So if you can't afford alloy,
Yeah.
you definitely can afford Uno Botanium.
But porcium is supposed to be a good.
Porcium?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I say it right or no? No one's.
No.
Oh.
You're gonna have to learn how this one is. So the best part is, imagine this is a podcast for a lot of people. They're not actually seeing the words in the chat, and they don't know what's going on with this. Are you guys ever bringing the chat into the main screen? We need to do that again so everybody can see, because they can see the word. But now they're playing the same game because they don't see the word like we see it.
Yeah.
And they're trying to figure out what the word is because of the way that you pronounced it.
I think they got the idea.
Unobotanium.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
No one's
So-
going to tell me how to really say it?
No, not till
No?
next episode. Yeah, I'm keeping a list.
Dave Black's got a question. He's asking, I'm considering buying a spare wheel set for the upcoming rallies. Is there a significant difference between DID XL or XL A60 compared to my... Logan, scroll down.
Yeah, Logan, scroll down. We can't see it. You have to throw the new message.
Stock Husky wheels on my 2020 FE 501S.
Absolutely. There's absolutely a difference. There's a lot of differences in that. By the way,
rim.
great company for wheels is W. That's D-U-B-Y-A. W.
Wait, spell that again?
D-U-B-Y-A. W.
That's how they say W down south. Is W.
W. So, anyways, I actually have a couple wheels there right now that I dropped off a long time ago. I think they wanted to just throw them in the trash can as they were so destroyed, and they might be working on them at the moment. But the biggest difference is there's a certain stiffness, Dave, to all different wheel sets, and it depends on the hub, a little more extent, the spokes, the type of spoking they do. There's different, like 2-cross and 3-cross. There's different ways to do this. There is also the stiffness of the rim, and this is the biggest thing that I feel, especially with the XL A60. I feel like for the most part it's too stiff, unless I have a full tank of gas on one of the bikes I'm using for the rally stuff. But then it's like it's good sometimes, and then it's just too stiff. So I would just go with one of the standard wheel sets, because your stock stuff, I would call it like soft or not as stiff. They build a certain amount of compliance into it, and when you start going to these stronger wheel sets with upgraded components, generally they tend to get a little bit stiffer. So I would, they can build you essentially kind of like a stock-ish wheel set. There's a lot of what we'll call price point wheels out there that you can buy. I've had some good success with some of them, and other ones have just been horrific. So I think when you're sticking to the more name brands, you understand what you're getting and a little more consistency. But if you call the guys at W, tell them you heard about it here, because a good company, and they'll know that if you're listening to us, then you have a better idea, and they'll treat you right, I'm sure. So we have a new question there, Logan?
Oh, a couple.
A couple. Oh, here we go. More words. It's funny because riding coach, I think I know who this is.
Oh, God, come on,
Riding
Matt.
coach, he switched his account just to...
I forgot to switch my.
yeah, he switched his account just to kind of go a little incognito there. Go ahead. George, look, George, don't be phonetically spelling this stuff out. Like, it's already confusing enough. He has no idea what you just did, George. You never...
It's like the bubble gum, right? You ever do that when you're little? Spell it out. You're like, thermodynamics.
Thermodynamics. That's right.
I thought that was going to be a gimme.
Yeah, no, that's good.
I thought that was a gimme.
Science.
Thermodynamics. That's it. Master of Science. That's good.
You said Dynoman?
Dynamics.
Hey,
Dynamics.
Cooper, what is this?
Hold on. Is it a new word?
I want to say Dubai, but no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've only said it and spelled it out a couple times.
Oh, W. No? Is
Yeah.
that the one you said W?
Right. Spell it out. Okay. Oh, here we go. We got a new word for you. Rick Levon has a new word for you.
Tenery.
Wow.
I got it?
Yeah. Tenere is the pronounce, but Tenere is okay. Yeah.
It's like Tannerite.
Yeah. You know, I've got one. I'd type it in, but I don't have the ability to type in right now. I know. I just one that.
You probably spell it out.
Yeah, I can't. If I say it, the problem is that if I say it, I won't get it right. But anyways, so this is our segment. We're going to be doing this. So if you think of a word, if you stumble across a word that you know Cooper will stumble with, bring it to us. We'll put it on the show.
Please don't.
You type it in or send it to us in email and we'll make one of our guys here type it in. We're going to try to get that comment thing back up on the screen. Anybody else have any questions out in chat world? Because if you're listening to this show and you go, man, I wish I could ask that dude this question right now. If you listen to this show that long, hopefully you learned a couple things and you want to learn something more. Just put it in the comments wherever you're listening to this at. Send us an email, and we will get back to us. You can do the Instagram message or thing, chat, twit, DM. You can do that. Hold on a second, Matt. Don't use your whole wad of words on one show here.
I got all those
This is
threes.
very easy.
Electron, neutron, proton.
There we go. I want to give him some gimmies.
He's trying to turn him into a scientist here. I want motorcycle words.
Ooh.
David Potts got one.
Made of those.
Yeah.
And David Potts got
I
one.
think I got that first one, but I don't know about the second one.
Right. Your frame is made of this.
Chromium.
Second word.
Molybdenum. Denumam.
Molly be damned.
Molly be damn.
Molybdenum.
Huh?
Okay, George. What? George, is that a word that has anything to do with motorcycles? Let's keep it to motorcycling.
Camp
stuff.
Ognol.
Yeah. Okay, we're definitely derailing this train.
I got a good one.
You've got a good
I
one?
just don't know how to spell it.
Oh, well, that isn't going to do any good. Why don't you do your research and bring it to the next episode? Hey, we're going to do our product spotlight, and this is brought to you by. Who's it brought to you by? It's brought to you by. I know who it's brought to you by. Bulletproof Designs. Product spotlight. So each week we talk about something we've been testing, using, and the reason I'm talking about this is because I was thoroughly impressed with something I already knew. So these are Scott's Amplifier lenses. They fit in your current Scott goggles. I have the little. Oh, it's right here on the side of the thing. I was going to read what it says. It says utilizes a unique light transformation curve to optimize contrast and clarity. Boy, I wonder what you would have said if you had to read that.
Exactly what you just said.
Okay, good. Here, why don't you read that? It's underneath the big letters there.
Utilizes a unique light transformation curve to optimize contrast
To what?
and clarity.
To what?
To optimize.
Okay, that's good. That was the word I
Contrast
thought
and
you were going to
clarity.
struggle with. Yeah. So basically, what this does
Just
is
remember what
it
you
makes
said.
it so you can see better. Do you want to read it in another language?
Yeah, I got this.
Okay, it's the little letters underneath the other one.
Yeah, I'm fluent. La technologie opticure amplifier a une corbi de transmission des rayons
This is French, by the way. Can you tell?
luminex unique afin de optizer li contrasti t la luminosi.
That's good.
A
Now,
Frenchman would be slapping you right now.
that's okay. At least it's not, if it was a Canadian guy, he'd probably be trying to bore out of his hole in the ground to try to come up and just tug you underground and do whatever they do underground with you. So back to these lenses. Not only is the good thing about Scott goggles is I would call them a standard in the industry. They've been around for a long time. They know what they're doing. They make some of the best stuff. And if you were to say, how does that goggle work? A lot of times coming into this discussion, it would always be compared back to the Scott, and that's because they're so good with their goggles. Their foam is excellent. They understand the sweat-absorbing technology. They have triple layer foam on this particular goggle. And what I was surprised with was the lens, because I was using a light transition lens, which probably wasn't the ideal thing, because I was riding into the sun and then turning 180 degrees and riding away from the sun. And even though those lenses transition pretty quick, it takes a second.
Yeah.
And especially when the sun was when I was looking up and then looking down to shadowed things, and up into the sun and looking down into shadowed things at night motocross, I couldn't see the lines in the berms heading into the sun. I put these things on, and bingo! All of a sudden, that was no longer a problem. And
Smoking Matt.
I was blown away. I smoked Matt all night, no problem.
Not even
It's
not even
different area codes there. Yeah, Matt's still just getting his moto feet under him. You should come to the track sometime. I know
Yeah,
you're
I
scared
gotta.
of jumps. It'll help with your speed, but you can't be grabbing the front brake like that. You want to play that one more time?
Oh no.
Let's run that one more time. This is Cooper on medium level braking performance. So notice he was going a little too fast, which caused the problem, and then he wanted to slow down, so he tried to give it all free. Our pretty big ex-trainer is. I did.
I tried to take out Jimmy. That was the whole plan.
I moved. Well, here, if you would have watched the video from conclusion, I actually rode into the bush and just set the bike there. I didn't have to put the kickstand down. I hopped off of it, and I wanted to make sure he was okay. He barely, where he was going down was a giant pile of logs. One more time. Let's run that there one more time. Yeah. So you see this big giant pile of logs and stuff. You just barely missed that stuff.
That would have hurt.
Yeah. So anyways.
Yeah.
You're
Jimmy
okay.
actually asked you if you were okay. I never got that.
I'm usually yelling at you because you scratched the bike already.
I got a couple think with your head fingers and everything.
Yeah. I pointed at the head while we were riding?
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens. If you would have been wearing these goggles, you probably would have seen that you were going a little too fast, and you would have started using the brakes a little bit earlier and not try to do it all at once. So anyways, Scott Amplifier lenses, super awesome. You can get them. They come equipped in some of the goggles. Otherwise, and this frame is the Prospect Amplifier. This is the blue, white, gold chrome Works Edition. So
good grip for it won't slide down your helmet.
no, and they have the outrigger. The Prospect has the outriggers and stuff that helps keep that strap outside of the thing. If you have any questions, if you have things that you want us to test or try, let us know. We can a lot of times do that. It kind of gives us a little bit of a point in the direction of things that you guys want to know about. We have been do test lots of things over these years, so we have a pretty good knowledge base. Trying to get these kids to do a little bit more work so I don't have to, and then I can kind of teach them how to properly test products. Go check out www.dirtbiketest.com to see all the stuff we've been doing. Trevor has, if you want to know about 250F off-road bikes, Trevor's been doing a lot there. We have some YZ450 FX modifications, how to take one of those and go race it competitively at the highest level or at your level, whatever it is. That's always good to see. Some of our quick we're actually starting to do a lot more little tech videos, little tech tips and stuff. So those are on a couple of our different YouTube channels. Check that stuff. Like it, share it. If you have a buddy that's asking you stupid questions all the time, have him ask me those questions because I'll put him in his place.
Make him call in.
No, have him call in too.
Yep.
On our Seat Concepts hot seat hotline. I won't be that mean. And Desert Adventurers says,
Do you like bladders and the PDS shocks?
so as opposed to the piston, the separate chambers, I guess is what he's asking. It changes the feel. And it depends on the whole rest of the setup because the best PDS shock I ever rode had a bladder on it. And I think at the time that it was George ESP is the one that built this thing, and he just said, hey, you got to try this, because he kind of stumbled across something, because the PDS at the time kind of, same thing like we were talking about, had this kind of harshness when that second piston really started working, that bladder took some of it out of it. So a lot of and this was 2005 to 2007 era, that's the way we were going with this, with a bladder setup, I believe. I'm pretty sure I'm right about this, but there's been a lot of itinerations because now we're just back to using the piston, the second, or what do they call that when it's a divider? Yeah, the divider inside there. So you have an air charge chamber and the other side is oil, and it's moving a piston actually inside of the shock reservoir, as opposed to having an oil going in there and running a bladder inside of that shock reservoir. So I like bladders because usually they come with a Schrader valve and they're easier for me to recharge and easier to service as opposed to having some kind of a special tool. But you can also buy caps now that allow you to you set the piston height inside there and you're able to do that. And Rick Levon says he likes my bib change video. I didn't like that because I was drinking Coors Light. That was a little bit rough. Mark Daniels says Tsubaki chain. Why did you say that? Because I was.
For the
Oh, now I know how to say it.
Cooper.
Oh, it was a word. Oh, say that. That's a good word. That's a good one. It's funny. I
Say it one more time.
I rode for that chain company for the longest time. They were one of my sponsors back when I was desert racing. I'm not going to say it again. You say it. That's your job.
Would you say like Tabasco chain or something?
Yes, I
Tabasbaki?
did. I said Tabasco chain. That's how you would say that.
No, Tsubaki chain.
It's close.
Sabaki.
Yeah, you just take the T out of it.
Subaki chain.
Yeah,
So why is there a T?
because it's Japanese.
Oh,
How do you
like
say
to add-
tsunami?
Tsunami.
What's the first
How do you
letter of
spell it?
tsunami?
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Cooper. Good one. Good one there, Mark. That was actually excellent. I thought he was referring back to. I broke my mic stand here. I think it's done for the show. This is a sign. This means we need to quit. So hey, everybody, scroll up. Make sure we got all the rest of the questions there, Logan.
We're good.
We're all good.
We'd like to thank Bulletproof Designs for sponsoring this goggle segment right here. They have handguards for most of the 2023 models. They're coming out, available soon for pegs for the 23 models. And they have 22 KTM group products swap over to the newer models too.
Right, because KTM, this is not a big model year change to the 23s, at least the ones that have been released, especially with the hard parts. Yeah, there's some motor changes and stuff, but that's everything. Hey, like us on the Twitter book grinder space page thing with Twit. Hey, what happened to what kind of account do we have somebody building for us?
TikTok.
TikTok.
Yep.
No one can access it.
Yeah, so
We'll
somebody
make another one.
Somebody built us a TikTok that didn't
Period,
work,
not a-
and one of you guys has to figure that out because I'm not going to do it. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for watching, and we will see you. I think next Tuesday. I'm going to have to be remote next Tuesday.
You can make it work if you want.
We can make it work. Hey, Maximus, is your dad going to come in the next show? I heard. I didn't know about this. I heard your dad came in and gave his place a checkout. We're okay. We passed my background pass.
With all this liquor
I'm all
around.
good. I know. Hey, well, I mean, you see me just pounding this stuff all the time, right? I'm just walking around here bouncing off the walls. And
No,
stuff.
you barely even touch it.
I know. I try my best. Hey, Brad. Salute to Jimmy and the entire crew. Thanks for the show. Hey, Brad. Thanks a lot. And my wife says I'm taking care of my wife next week. So
Yeah.
yes, I am. And
Good husband.
Good husband. Okay. With that, we will see you out in the trail.
See you.
Cheers.